Hey, Jeff here, and I was just taking a walk and thought I'd shoot a video, something that was kind of on my heart, and thought it would maybe encourage and give you some information. So I just sold my EM1, my 2001 Honda Civic Si, after about a year of ownership, and hate if you will. I was done. Found somebody that wanted it more, friend of mine, and worked out a deal, and we both came out happy. So on to new things. But I was just kind of thinking here as I was walking, and I was reflecting on I've sold 4 cars long distance, so I thought it would be cool to shoot a quick video and just kind of tell you what I've learned. I've had 4 successful experiences selling cars long distance. So one, I sold and shipped to Iowa. If you look way back at the beginning of this channel, back 12 years ago, I had a 1980 Honda Civic 2-door 5-speed, and guy from Iowa bought it, added it to his collection, had it shipped up there sight unseen. And then I sold my Fiesta ST to a fellow named John. I think he was in Illinois or Indiana, one of those states. It was a good long way. And then I sold one of my Insights to a gentleman in Florida. And then I just sold my Civic to a fellow friend in Ohio. And I'm in Georgia. So all of those, especially the non-Florida states, were pretty far away. So just kind of 2 thoughts that, I would say if you're looking to buy or sell a car long distance. And, a quick preface to all this, I realize that it's very common nowadays for people to buy cars on eBay, have them shipped, Carvana, bring a trailer, cars and bids. So that's, some of this will kind of apply to that, but I'm really talking less about newer cars and more about older cars where there's some risk involved. Because in some cases, if you fly in and then have to drive that car home, like the EM1 had to go 600 miles north through rain, so with not the greatest tires. So there's some risk involved. So just two quick thoughts. The first one is that you need to do a ton of research, both buyer and seller. And then the second one is that there just has to be some trust. So, I found as the seller, the buyer should be able to ask any question at all, even if it's just a few $1,000s. They should be able to get date codes on the tires. They should be able to get pictures of the underneath of common rust areas. They should be able to, if they want, get a thermostat tool put into one of the air conditioning vents to see how cold it registers. All those kinds of things. They should be able to see the oil pan if they want to. They should be able to see a video of the car redlining. Cold starts, hot starts, all those things are very, very, very important. And those things really don't take long. Especially, when you start getting into higher, like real money, like over $5,000 or $10,000, you start selling cars at 10, 15,000 plus. Someone deserves you to spend 30 minutes and take pictures and videos of all the things I just mentioned. And if they're not willing to do that, if the seller isn't, I would say back off. It kind of tells you something. I've had some cars I lost out on an auction of a RX-8 2 weeks ago. And the reason I quit looking after the car was that the seller wouldn't even send me a picture of the tires. I just want to see day codes and tread, approximation. And so it's all right, if you won't even send me, how's this deal gonna go if I can't even get pictures of the tires? And you have the car, he had the car on, it was pretty true. So anyhow, you as the seller, you need to be able to ask any question, especially if you're shipping a car, flying in to get it. You're taking a lot of risk. And so, if someone is not willing to just answer basic questions and put the car through the paces, then it's sort of like, what else is hiding? And you know, someone won't send me pictures of the tires, for example. You got to wonder what else is going on in that car that I'm going to find out when I get home. Maybe nothing. Maybe they're just lazy, or you know, something's going on. But you know, I would say that's just kind of a gut feeling you probably want to follow. So be really thorough if you're the seller, if you're the buyer, you know, and if you're trying to work that kind of deal and they're not willing to participate and, you know, entertain, then walk away. Don't get emotionally attached to it. And then the other thing, you know, first one again, research. And, you know, along with that, you need to know, like, whatever you're getting, like, you know, if the car has a check engine light, what number, you know, what code is it, and what does it mean? How hard is it, or expensive might it be to fix? Blah, blah, blah. So do tons of research. You know, I'm looking at a couple cars right now myself, and I've spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours researching about them, so that when I look at the example that I might buy, I'll know common things to look for that, you know, could have been hidden, covered up, or on the way to breaking or broken. And then the other thing is trust, you know, trust. So again, I mentioned two things, one being research, and then the other is just trust. And I mean, that's just the truth. You gotta get to a point where you gotta trust the seller if you're the buyer. Because if you're the seller, you know, you're trusting your car won't blow up on the test drive, you know, and no warranty. So, but if you're the buyer, you have a lot of trust you have to have, because you're getting a car maybe shipped to you that you've never driven. Things can be hidden, or you're flying in, as is in the case with me, and then driving, you know, in my case, you know, one guy, it was like 1,000 miles home, the guy that bought my Fiesta. And again, the EM1 is a 25-year-old car with 180,000 miles that had to go 600 miles north last week. So, you know, as the buyer, you want to have a sense of, like, I trust this car and I trust this person. So, you know, that's just really, really important. Like, really important. You kind of get a vibe when you're talking to people. You know, can I trust this person? Or, you know, look at their Facebook profile. You know, see if they're, you know, just kind of get a gut feeling for what they're like. And, you know, you can't always judge a book by its cover, but I tend to go with my gut. You know, I tell people, like, 50% of every car I buy is who I buy it from. And if you know a car has been honestly presented, that really goes far for your confidence, especially, again, if you're spending a lot of money. So, you know, that trust part, again, especially as the buyer, you got to trust, you got to have some level of trust in this person, in this car. You know, is it going to be what I expected? And, you know, and I guess kind of a last thought, just, you know, I said two, I guess maybe a third thought. This is all kind of off the cuff, but you kind of have like a little bit of YOLO. So you got to kind of be willing to, like, you know what, I'm about to, in my case, often I drive 4 or 5 hours one way to get a car with a trailer. Or if you're flying in to get a car, you know, you kind of have to have a bit of a YOLO attitude, like no risk, no reward. You know, the guy that bought my Civic last week, you know, how many 2000 Civic SIs in great condition are there in the country? There's maybe 1,000, maybe a couple thousand, not many. So, you know, you got to kind of realize, hey, like, I'm going to take a big risk here, but something really, really, really cool could happen. And it might blow up, you know, it might blow up the day it gets in my driveway, or it might blow up on the way home. And so, you know, you kind of have to have that attitude of, you know what, this is a risk. And, you know, people that take risks sometimes get heartbroken. And then sometimes people that take risks sometimes they're the guy driving around in the cool car, you know. And that's all of life. But, you know, so there has to be some sort of, you know, something in us that, you know, when we're making this kind of deal or choice that says, you know what, I'm going to take a risk. Nothing in life is guaranteed. I'm just going to go for it. And obviously, you know, don't be dumb with that. Like, if you're spending, you know, 10, 20 grand on a used collectible car, Like, that's not something that you like take a loan out against your house, or like borrow money from somebody's dad or whatever, you know, or like put it on credit somehow. Like, that's not a smart idea. You know, if you're going to take that risk, I would suggest don't risk that kind of money in your time unless it's not going to kill you if it doesn't work out. I always look at it that way. I think that's a smart approach. So we're at the 10-minute mark. I'll stop here. Shorter videos tend to get more interest, but yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on buying cars long distance. Again, my 3 kind of ideas on it were research, trust, and then risk. You gotta take a risk. No risk, no reward. Hopefully it works out good for you. If you got the first 2, the risk probably is minimized. So anyhow, peace. God bless you. Appreciate you watching. And maybe we can discuss this in the comments. Peace.